Hello there, I have returned, but unfortunately it's not going to be for very long. Right off the top of this video, I just want to thank anybody that reached out or left a comment asking how I was doing and why there wasn't any more videos being uploaded to this channel. And that's why I'm making this video, honestly, because even though this channel is like tiny and like has very little subscribers and is basically like a drop in the ocean of YouTube, I think that I owe those people an explanation why this channel has been put out to pasture or left for dead or laying dormant. So let's get right into it. And the biggest question on everybody's lips, of course, what did I think of the Monkey Island DLC for Sea of Thieves? Well, honestly, I actually haven't played it at all. I do own a Series X and I do own Sea of Thieves, but I just don't really have any interest in playing Sea of Thieves at all. And the Monkey Island DLC, while it is cool that it exists, it doesn't really look like something that I'm super interested in playing, certainly anytime soon. So that might be a bit disappointing for some people, but honestly, I just couldn't really be bothered playing for Xbox Live either because it is a multiplayer game and I don't think I'll get much use out of it. But if you did play it, let me know down below what you thought of it. So moving on, have I seen the new Ron Gilbert game and what do I think of it? Well, I have seen the screenshot of the new Ron Gilbert game and it looks interesting, but again, there's not enough information really out for me to have any opinion on it, and I'm not really all that hyped, to be honest. We all know Ron Gilbert as the point and click guy, the Monkey Island guy, and the few times that he has kind of gone outside the comfort zone of point and clicks have been good, but none of them have been really stellar. Like, I did play The Cave many years ago and I thought it was a fun time, but again, it didn't really stick with me long after I played it in the same way that Monkey Island has. So yeah, I will definitely keep abreast of any more updates about the game, but right at this moment, there's just simply not enough out about it, and it just looks like a Zelda-style action RPG. I'm sure that there will be some kind of comedic twist on it, like Ron Gilbert is known for, and I certainly will check it out when there's more information. But as for now, I don't really have all that much to say about it, other than, yes, I have seen it, and I suppose it looks interesting. Right, and the third question, what did I think of the end of Return to Monkey Island? Well, that question is kind of easy for me to answer, but mightn't be a satisfying answer for any of you. Well, I liked the game when I played it, and I certainly liked the ending. I felt the ending was like a book closing. It kind of was the perfect ending for me to that series. And it said really all it was saying. It didn't really leave much open to interpretation, in my opinion. It just kind of says exactly what it says, and then it closes the book and says, that's the end of the series, really. That's the way I took it anyway, and I played it at this stage nearly over a year and a half ago, I think. Honestly, I haven't really given Return to Monkey Island all that much thought after. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know if it hasn't left that much of an impact on me, or was it just the perfect finish to the game that feels kind of satisfying and I don't need to question it anymore. It was an experience, and that experience has now passed. Maybe in another 10 years or something, if I leave some distance again from the Monkey Island series and return to it, maybe I will actually pick up on something different, or maybe it will have a different type of meaning at that point. But right now, I think it was a satisfying ending, and I got exactly, I think, what they were trying to say with it, and I haven't really given it much more thought. So yeah, it might be a very satisfying answer to that question, but that is my honest answer. So now, with all those big, massive, important questions out of the way, let's get on to the stuff that's a little less important, such as where have I been and what have I been doing? Well, I've been right here. I haven't gone anywhere. I've been living in the same place. I've been keeping fit by exercising. I've been eating. I've been spending time with family and friends. I've been working. I've been attempting to play some games, but I'd like to be playing more video games. But again, it's just my daily routine is rather busy, and trying to fit in the time to play those games can be quite hard. Yeah, I'm just generally living life, really. And so here we are, onto the least most important question of all. Why have I stopped uploading to this channel? Well, being totally honest, I feel I've brought this channel to its inevitable conclusion. And simply put, I don't have the motivation, interest, passion, or drive to continue working on this channel in its current form. So I hear you ask, why is that the case? Well, let's look at some of the reasons and break them down individually, such as the channel name. The channel name was chosen completely arbitrarily at the very start when I started this channel. It was just a phrase that my friend had said to me in passing, a play on the word dangerously, so dangerously. My name isn't Lee, and I definitely amn't dangerous, so the channel name itself I think is a little silly and a little meaningless to me, and doesn't really inspire me to want to continue working on the channel. So I hear you say, well, change the channel name. I absolutely could do that. You can change the channel name on YouTube, but the problem is the channel name and account is tied to an email under the same name. And unfortunately, while you can actually change channels over to different emails, it's a rather convoluted thing here to do on YouTube, and I really just don't think it is worth doing when I could just start another channel with a different name that's better planned out and certainly is more of a name that inspires me to want to continue on creating. So yeah, that might sound like a silly reason, but the channel name to me is an important factor and I like to have more meaning behind it. And when I created the channel, it wasn't something that I really put much thought. And so that leads on to another one of the reasons, which is the initial channel goal and how that channel goal has changed. When I originally set up this channel, it had one goal in mind, an excuse for me to play more video games. The idea being that I would play long form, unedited Let's Plays and commentate over them and upload them to YouTube. As I've gotten older, time has become a more limited resource, and the time to actually play video games has become less and less. And it also felt like I was wasting my time if I was playing video games. By playing these games and commentating over them and then uploading them to YouTube, it would feel like I was doing something more constructive with my time, because there was the potential that I would grow a channel and also gain some viewership in the same time. And the second reason would be that I would actually then have a record of all of the video games I played, and I would be able to look back on it in the future, regardless of whether I got viewership or not. And that worked well at the very start, because I played through Soldier of Fortune. I really enjoyed that experience. And of course, Soldier of Fortune is not a Monkey Island game, nor is it a point and click game. It's a violent first-person shooter. But that is one of the many games that I wanted to play, and I have many games on my backlog that I still want to play. But then what happened was Return to Monkey Island was announced. And because that series means a lot to me and has a special place in my heart, I felt compelled to make a reaction video. So what happened there was I already muddied the waters by changing the format of the channel to a reaction channel, even though it wasn't started as that. It was started as a Let's Play channel. In that same video, I stated that I would then play through all of those games here on the channel, because I was looking for a reason to return to the Monkey Island series. At that stage, I hadn't played it in about 10 years, and I was holding off in the slim hope that there would actually be another Monkey Island game. I never thought that would be the case, but it ended up being the case. And so I launched in then to playing through the entirety of the Monkey Island series from start to finish, including Return to Monkey Island, and that became the goal of the channel. And as time went on and I got deeper and deeper into the games in the Monkey Island series, it was very clear that the goal of the channel then was to finish Return to Monkey Island. And the old goal of just playing any game, any arbitrary game that is on my backlog, kind of just got pushed off the table completely. And so that leads on to another one of the reasons, which is the expectation of the channel changed when I released that reaction video to the Return to Monkey Island teaser trailer. The expectation of the channel then became that this would be a Monkey Island content channel, or by proxy, a point and click based channel. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with that being the expectation of the channel, but because the original goal wasn't that, and the original expectation of the channel wasn't that, that is another one of the reasons why I am lacking in motivation to continue serving that expectation. The other thing about expectation of the channel is that YouTube itself and its algorithms favor very well planned out niche content. So for example, if I was just making long form essays that were well researched and that was the only thing I was doing on the channel, well, if those videos performed well and YouTube decided to bless it with its algorithm, well then the people that would come to that channel, the viewers, would see that only all the content is exactly what they came to the channel for in the first place, and then they would continue to be served. I do actually think on YouTube that the point and click community is very underserved. I do actually think there is a space for some content creator to be a champion of point and click material. But I really just don't think that's me right now. And so that leads on to another reason, my own personal interest. I have a very wide interest when it comes to video gaming. I love the technology, the history, the people behind it, the makers, how the games affect us as players, the gameplay itself, retro, modern. I like to keep up to date on all the news in all those worlds, the hardware, some of the new developments in fan mods. When it comes to video games, I really am interested in almost all of it. And for me, being funneled down into the path of one thing, for me, is just quite creatively stifling. Because while I love point and click games, and I clearly love Monkey Island, I just do not have enough interest to solely talk about those things and nothing else. So I hear you ask, well, why not retrofit the channel or change the channel format or go in a different direction or play different games or change the goal of the channel? Well, for me, it's just too far gone now. I don't really feel that I can bring the channel back for all the reasons that I stated. There's really no point when I could just create a new channel with a name that means something to me, a channel goal that's focused and planned, an expectation of the channel that doesn't change, and that my interest and passion and motivation and drive is fully in for. I much prefer having a plan of the end goal made out and focusing on that end goal rather than just kind of going for it and seeing what happens. And that's very much what happened with Dangerously because of the Monkey Island announcement. And that should tell you how big of an announcement that really was. It so fundamentally shifted the goal of the channel. I did as well at some points consider making separate channels under the same name. And so when I was making the long form essay of what I thought the secret of Monkey Island was, I did consider a new channel in this account that would just be long form essays. And I did also think of making another channel separate to that under this account where I would be more chill and vlog and talking about just video games that I maybe had picked up or my thoughts on GameStop closing down or whatever it might have been. But honestly, at that time, that would have felt like way too many hats to be wearing, and I didn't really want to have to start off 2 other channels or more. So at this point, I just feel that with all those reasons in mind, there isn't much point for me to continue on with this channel. It's better for me mentally and for my clarity going forward to whatever else I end up doing, to just kind of leave this channel alone. Leave it die, leave it lay dormant. I feel like this channel is more just creatively stifling rather than inspiring me to want to create more things. So for that reason, I think it's just best left dead. I do feel I have learned a lot from this channel on many of the stuff that I wouldn't do going forward again. And I have had channels in the past where similar stuff has happened, where it has been spread too thin or the interests were too varied. And I feel that each step along the way, you always take away some new bit of information. And I think I have a way better idea of what I would do going forward if I was to do different creative YouTube things in the future. So that leaves what happens with this channel now. And I think it's best that it's just left lay dormant. What I will be doing, effective immediately, is all of the videos on the channel, bar one video, will be going unlisted into publicly available playlists. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to clean up the feed of the channel. The only video that will be left publicly on the channel is the long form, what do I think the secret of Monkey Island is? And the reason that's the video I've chosen as the one to leave publicly on the channel is because of all the videos I made, that's a video I believe should be publicly available for people to watch. So there we go. I hope that explains some of my reasoning as to why I've let this channel go. Just to give you a quick clarifying statement, I don't have the motivation, passion, drive or interest to continue on with this channel. I think this channel has come to its inevitable conclusion, as in the book has been closed. I don't like the channel name and couldn't be bothered changing it. The channel goal shifted from one thing to another and that channel goal has been achieved. The expectation of the channel changed and I don't have the interest to chase after that expectation of the channel. And finally, I also think that there is no point in me retrofitting or changing the channel at this point, as it would just be easier to plan out and make completely different channels. So I hear you potentially ask, will I end up making videos again? Absolutely, yes. I do not think it's going to be on this channel, but I will also say never. That is why I'm not deleting this channel outright. I think it's better to leave the channel dormant, and maybe somewhere down the line I might get the inspiration to go down a route with this channel. It's more likely that if I get the motivation to do another project, it'll be on a completely new separate channel built from the ground up. But anyway, it's not all doom and gloom, because I'd like to leave you with two things. One of which is I genuinely want to express my heartfelt gratitude and thanks to you. If you were watching along the hours of me playing these video games and interacting with the videos as they were coming out, like, it still boggles my mind. It's still crazy that anyone was enjoying the stuff enough that they wanted to reach out and interact with me and play along with these games. It is a breath of fresh air when I get to interact with people who are like-minded and have similar interests to me. So thank you. Thank you for watching, and thank you for commenting. And finally, I do have a little surprise for you all, and that is one extra video. I've had this box sitting in my room for ages. It's been just taunting me. I've wanted to open it since I received it, but something held me back from doing that. And that was you guys and this channel. Because I believe what's in this box that needs to be opened deserves to be unboxed on this channel, because that to me will be the perfect bookend to this whole channel. And so what is in this box? It is, of course, the Return to Monkey Island Collector's Edition. And so I'm making this video after I've opened that box, but that video is now on the channel. If you're interested, please do go and watch that video and let me know what you think of the collector's edition of Monkey Island. As I said, I hope I've given some insight into the reasons why I have to let this channel go. We have come to the end of the line, and this is Dangerously signing out for the last time. I salute you all, and I thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.